Yo guys, what is good? Zakaragi back at it again, and today we have a performance review for the Jordan Luka 2. So let's go over the good, the bad, and the ugly and get straight into the review. And as always, let's start with the traction. We have a multi-directional blade pattern similar to the Luka 1 with some minor differences, but unfortunately it is translucent rubber, so the outsole is like a dust magnet, and even after wiping it, more dust would stick to it right away, so on dusty courts, the traction would struggle and never made me feel glued to the ground, so I would lose confidence on my moves because of it. But on clean courts, the traction worked great, which was a relief given how they performed on the dustier courts. The only real problem that I could give you when it comes to playing with these on clean courts is that you do have to wipe from time to time, not very often at all, but that's just such a minor thing. So I am a little bit disappointed, however, with the outsole itself, given the translucent rubber that Jordan Brand uses. Just the track history I have with Jordan Brand and all the shoes that I've tried from them that do have translucent rubber outsoles for basketball just hasn't been the greatest on dustier courts, so they should probably take notes from Puma, because those guys, they got it figured out for sure. I mean, if you saw my last performance review for the Puma All Pro Nitro, I will link it up here. That shoe had phenomenal traction even on dusty courts, and it is a translucent rubber outsole. So Jordan Brand, I don't know what you're doing, but maybe take a look at Puma and see what they got going on. And I also want to touch upon one problem I had with the outsole itself. So with this new design, there are little flex grooves on here. You can see one right there on the midfoot of the shoe. So with this flex groove, the outsole actually started separating from it, and I was pretty pissed off about that. And I just think it is probably not the best design idea from Jordan Brand to do this. So I will be returning these right after I'm done this review, and I didn't really notice it affecting the performance at all, but given that the shoe broke just like that and I didn't even take these outdoors, was a little bit disappointing for sure. However, the cushioning is improved from the Luka 1, and the Formula 23 foam felt much better as it was less dense and stiff feeling, mainly in the heel area compared to the Formula 23 foam used in the Luka 1. And the Cushlon 3.0 wedge definitely added another layer of comfort to the shoes, which was great, and this dual density setup doesn't feel very bouncy and responsive, but rather more of a smooth and stable ride on foot. So there is more cushioning in this shoe compared to the Luka 1, so that means you'll be sitting a little bit higher up off the ground when you have these on your feet, which also means you'll be losing a little bit of court feel. Not too much, but it is a noticeable difference between the Luka 1. So as a bonus though, you will be gaining some impact protection with more cushioning. So if you're a guy like me that likes to have a good combination of court feel with impact protection, this is a great setup for you. And for a guy like Luka, who is a bit of a bigger player, you know, having more impact protection is definitely beneficial in his shoes. So when it comes to the next model, I think I'd like to see Jordan Brand try to implement a 4-foot zoom unit in combination with the Formula 23 foam, or even in combination with a mixture of Formula 23 foam and Cushlon 3.0 with the 4-foot zoom unit, because, you know, a guy like Luka, he's always on his 4-foot doing step backs and doing all his moves and whatnot. I think it'd be pretty beneficial to have a 4-foot zoom unit right there, and for me, I love playing in shoes with 4-foot zoom units, so that's also what I prefer. So Jordan Brand, if you're listening, maybe get that done, because that'd be a pretty dope idea. Also, the heel to toe transition was smooth thanks to the rounded out design of the outsole and midsole, and despite how the rest of the shoe is flat, the transition was still smooth nonetheless, but could have been a bit better for my liking. Now moving on to the materials, and they do need some break-in time, but the more you wear them, the better they get. And once broken in, it helps to improve certain aspects of the shoe, like the lockdown for example, and despite how bulky the shoe looks, it definitely feels much lighter on foot. Initially, when I first got these, I thought that the synthetic materials were going to be stiff and uncomfortable on foot, but surprisingly, they actually weren't. So the more and more that you play in these, the more that they break in, the better and better that they get. For example, when I first got these and when I laced them up to play, I really felt like I had to lace these up as tight as possible to really get that most secure fit that I prefer to play in, just because the materials weren't giving in at all. But once they broke in, I didn't have to lace these up as tight to get that same fit that I like and prefer, because the materials were giving in a little bit more. So I don't exactly like how bulky the materials look on foot. Despite it being a bit of a lighter shoe relative to how it looks, The shoe just feels like a boot on foot in my mind still. It's obviously just a mental thing, but it just feels like I have a boot on my foot, and that's pretty annoying for me because I prefer to play with sleeker designs like the Luka 1 for example, or like a Kobe 8, and this shoe just feels like to me that I have a boot that's weighing me down, and I just feel like I can't be as fast on court. I know it's just a mental thing, but that's just how I feel when I got these on. So what I do appreciate about the materials is actually how the synthetic overlays do act as sort of like a cage for your foot that really adds to the overall support and containment. And I feel like Jordan Brand wasn't lying when they said that they call this their 360 degrees support. And that leads me straight into the lockdown and support, and this is my favorite performance aspect of the shoes because it was really awesome when I played in them. The isoplate system makes a return to the Luka 2, and combined with the external TPU pieces on the lateral sides of the shoe, they provided amazing lateral support and containment. So just like the Luka 1, the isoplate system still has the same design and function on the Luka 2s, so it's a plate that sits under your foot and it's in a zigzag pattern. So this plate acts as like a spring plate for your side to side movements, so it caters towards those type of moves like a step back or a crossover, or even if you are doing like some side to side shuffles and whatnot. So the isoplate system will actually sort of give you more spring to your step, or supposedly will give you more spring to your step on all those kind of side to side movements. Also, given that the shoe has a nice flat base right here and it has this tiny outrigger, it does add to the stability of the shoe as well. Finally, for fit, I would recommend going true to size, even if you are a wide footer, but obviously try them on in store if you ever get the chance to. But overall guys, had it not been for the traction performance on dustier courts as well as how bulky the shoe is, I probably would have liked it a lot better. But don't get me wrong, it's still a great performer on court, just isn't the shoe for me. So comment down below and let me know what you think about these shoes, and if you've played in them, share your experience in the comments down below. But we're at that point of the video guys now, it's time for hashtag Zacharagi, what you rockin'. So for today guys, I got these bad boys right here. Woo! So these are the Jordan Union 1s in collaboration also with BBS. So man, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous shoe right here. Oh, I can't wait to put these on feet today. So that's it for today, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm signing out. Peace.